With the taste, do you feel it is just on the body, or is it almost around the body as well?
For me, it goes into the body and then right down to the toes, and then sort of on the outside of the body too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like there's taste buds around your body.
Yeah, I can still taste it now.
Would you like to recall how, when you first began, there was all that resistance and you actually felt like you wanted to go?
Yeah, it was definite. I was disconnected, I would say, and not really sort of connecting to any sort of pleasurable feeling at all to start with. Yeah, I was quite comfortable with you, but not knowing what to expect.
What was the intention when you first called up with your?
Because I'm feeling so good now, it's hard to recall.
What a big difference from the first hour to compared to the last 2 hours.
Huge. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was a point where I was feeling that I couldn't probably experience pleasure.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling quite uncomfortable, but I was also aware that I needed to go there.
Yeah.
And that the pulsating feeling in my body and the pain, towards the end, the pulsating didn't stop in my wrists. But I became to a point where it sort of just felt like energy more than uncomfortable. Yeah, so it sort of transmuted almost,
Wonderful. And when you felt the vibrations, if you recall, did you feel your body pulsating the same pace as your arms and legs, or were they a little bit different?
I felt them to be quite different, actually. Yeah, I felt in the centre of my stomach, the third chakra?
The solar plexus.
Solar plexus. Yeah. It was vibrating like a sort of like a small squash ball. It was vibrating quite intense just in that area.
Yeah.
And my wrists were probably vibrating even faster than that, almost to the point of being painful. Well, they were painful.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were locked up.
And let's remember, you've got pins in your wrist, you've actually had broken wrists, so there was almost like a sense that was something trying to move through there, and there was that...
It went straight there. That's
exactly.
where it felt. As soon as you started working on me, that's where it seemed to sort of go.
And that's where the fear came in as well, isn't it? You actually were quite fearful.
It was, yeah.
And you kept referring to my wrists, my wrists, my wrists.
Yeah. I felt as though I could not handle the pain, and I wanted you to change the situation or just to get out of it. And feeling like, I can't go any further than this.
So what I did was I adapted it a little bit, didn't take you out of it completely, but I adapted it,
Yep, which made it more acceptable for me and comfortable, but it didn't go away, it was still there, we were still working on it.
We weren't taking it away, no. But it helped you to be there and allow it to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there wasn't a force, but there was an insistence of staying there to go through the process,
It did,
Because you requested that anyway.
Yes, yeah. And it seemed to sort of dissipate into the background, and I could feel more pleasurable feelings through my body.
Okay, That was dominating you for quite some time?
Yeah, but not really that consciously. Just, I definitely felt...
Oh, mentally you had a lot to say about it.
different to experiencing it. Yeah. I think I've always been that way, where intellectually I know a lot of things about myself, but it's a whole different ballgame experiencing it.
That's right.
And it was very... you heard me wanting to talk about things a lot, because I'm wanting to get away from the feeling and talk about it so I can control the situation. Where I could see that it was really hard for me to stop doing, but I could see that it was much more beneficial just to stay with the feeling and the breath. Whereas I wanted to be...
Yes.
Yeah.
We did that for a while.
Yeah.
Because your mind wasn't going to stop, so we let it. And we let it.
Yeah.
And then we assisted it to focus elsewhere. And it had this struggle. So we still went through that. We went through the struggle of the mind and body,
Yep.
And that was important.
Yeah.
And then the shift happened. Now, when I was touching you off your body, what was that feeling?
It was just, I could just feel the energy of your hands in my body, and also in between your hands and my body.
So it felt as if there was a hand or energy of the hand inside your body as well?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just trying to recall the feeling where you actually particularly were. I could feel, but it would also start activating different other parts of the body too that maybe you weren't necessarily near.
Right, so when I was on your chest, you felt it.
I felt that you were on my chest, but I also could feel like maybe my toe might start hurting, you know, or
That's right.
something. Yeah, so I would just focus on that and just keep, and then get focused back on what you're doing, and then it would seem to sort of disappear even when you hadn't told me to do those things.
So you became more comfortable in feeling.
Yeah.
So you were literally teaching yourself. Then you were able to take over with your own knowledge in yourself.
Well, I kind of sort of felt how you were doing what you were doing, and then when you weren't asking me, I would go there for myself.
Yeah, because you remember the feeling.
Yeah.
Not the intellect, but the feeling. So you learned to go into the feeling rather than the intellect.
Yeah.
Did it?
And it's kind of like a tool. Like it's like, okay, there's some painful experience here. If I go to it into something
now the
very
first
quickly,
hour
like
they
instantly though.
Yes, thank you. But the first hour you weren't getting it. You were really fighting it. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, and you were almost thinking, I really don't want to be here.
Yeah, I was, but I knew I had to. I knew
you
it
knew
wasn't
you wanted to.
I knew
Exactly.
I knew that it was my own resistance because I have met my resistance before.
Yeah, and we
but I
talked
feel
about
like
that before we started.
Well, you took me a lot further past my own resistance than I have been able to. So.
And further than you expected.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, when I was at your feet, you felt sensations where else?
When you're at my feet, it was actually quite pleasurable, because my feet quite often feel quite, held on and tight. So it was. I'm just trying to recall. I can't recall quite exactly where.
At one point, there was a sharp pain in the testicle.
Ah, that's right. Yeah.
And I wasn't even touching your feet.
When you went to the feet, there was a sharp pain in my right testicle, and it was just a zap, like a zap of pain. And then I told you about it. And that was me sort of focusing at the same time, and then it just instantly gone.
Right.
It's like something that came up to be experienced and then sort of.
But also you learnt a tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that could be a thought or someone else. You can actually know how to send the energy there rather than resist it as well.
Yep. Definitely.
And rather than intellectualize it, because once you intellectualize it, the pain starts to persist. So it's about going into the feeling, yeah?
Yep. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
Wonderful. Yep. As you walked, you had resistance being led.
Yes. Yeah.
And then what happened?
Changed my mind around by saying, think of me as your crutch. And as you did that, and I sort of almost instantly visualised it, I felt more in control.
Yeah.
So I felt safer, and then it was okay to be.
So was there more as a support?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a support, whereas
rather than the manipulator.
Before I felt like I can take it from here.
I
can take it from here. I got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were almost able to allow someone in to your space without feeling threatened or manipulated or weak or anything like that.
Definitely.
It strengthens you.
Yep. And it's interesting because in my relationships I don't like holding my girlfriend's hand. She always quite often will hold my hand and I'll be like, not here, like.
How do you think that's going to help you thinking of it? Is instead of, you don't want to think of your girlfriend as a crutch.
No.
But we need to think of her as your support. So I use the word crutch, but that turned into a support. So she's nourishing you, you're nourishing her now. And it's a different story, whether it's going to be the same girlfriend or another.
Yeah, well, I feel that I need to continue working on myself before I do enter another relationship.
That's
just
wonderful.
So I have more of me.
You're more aware of your fear of feeling perhaps needy even or whatever, or needing help or needing whatever it is. You don't even know what that is yet, and we don't need to identify it mentally or intellectually. Yeah.
Well, actually, towards the end, a couple of thoughts and feelings came up about the resistance or the fear of letting go of my relationship, because
Right.
it's still holding on there. And I did the same thing that I did with the body work, you know,
Yes.
where I just allowed it to be there and I felt it and then breathed and then focused on my body, and it did seem to sort of it's not as intense. Like it was a real fear, like I got to get back to my past relationship. So I feel like it's really let something
And
off
what
there.
you're reinforcing now is, and I say that in my website, you cannot have a relationship with somebody else until you have one with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, because if you go back to that relationship because you have these needy feelings, there's not much love there, is there?
No.
For you or for her.
There's not much of you turning up.
No. No, you're expecting that person to do something for you, and it's not going to happen.
And that's not a bad thing, as long as you know what you want from them. But if you don't know you don't know what you're expecting, so whatever's coming to you, you're not going to appreciate anyway, because you haven't been specific about what your needs are.
Yeah.
That's another thing, maybe?
Which is kind of a discovery now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff. You with that?
Yeah, very amazing experience.
Good.